Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Luna Classic, what has happened to it recently, and where we think the price is going to go to in the near future, with some key price levels and some trades we're looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel and you're one of the 86% of people that watch my videos that have not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So without further ado, let's get into this video and let's get those annotations back on the screen. So firstly, we'll talk about what has happened recently, and then I will tell you where I think the price is going to go to. So Luna Classic at the moment, as we can see, has been heading in some sort of downwards direction. It has been no secret that the whole cryptocurrency market is doing that. Every single stock is starting to head downwards, and basically what we see is some sort of acceleration in this downwards trend on Luna Classic. So if you've been watching my previous videos, you'll know that we have some key levels that we're looking out for, and now we're tantalizingly close once again to this purple line. And this purple line is significant because it supported the price of Luna Classic throughout its very lifetime. So if I just show you the one-day chart quickly, you can see that with this purple line here, it has supported the price ever since its inception. So every time the price has come down, which I count about 7 or 8 times now, every single time the price has come down to this purple line, it has bounced back up, and we've seen a very nice pump from it, at least 20 or 30% in the upwards direction. So we've been watching this, for a particular trade that we're wanting to make. Of course, if the price gets down to there and history repeats itself, then it should bounce up. Then it should bounce upwards by 20 or 30%. So this is a level that I was looking at. But obviously, given the whole market conditions and everything like that, I am factoring the possibility that this price level does not hold. So if this purple line does not hold and prices start to go underneath, then that is going to be fairly new territory for Luna Classic, and I am preparing for the worst here. And so if history repeats itself, it should come down to this level and bounce off with a 10, 15, 20, even 25% trade in the upwards direction. So as you know from my previous videos, if you have watched them, I am going to be placing some sort of buy order in the premise that the prices get down to this purple level, and once again, if history repeats itself, it should support the price going in the upwards direction, and we should see a nice healthy bounce in the upwards direction from here. It doesn't mean we can't go lower in the future, but I do think there will be a considerable bounce. So I have an automatic buy order at this level at around 15.6 to 15.7 cents and a stop loss just below. So if the prices do continue to tank below this purple line, which I do see as a big possibility here, then it will take out my position with a small loss. But since I'm expecting quite a bit of a bounce in the upwards direction, this risk to reward is favorable for me. So that's the first trade here I'm looking to make. So if prices do fall below this purple line, then I do think we've got a bit of a way to go. And the next real level that I'm looking at is this 13.5 cents level. I'm going to put that here in a slightly different color. I'm going to color this in some sort of dark pink. There we go. So this is the next level down that I am looking at. So if this purple level does not hold here on Luna Classic, then I would be expecting the price to drop pretty far down to this purple level at 13.5 cents. And I've chosen this level here because it again was a historic support here on Luna Classic, but the relationship is different, because if we just look back in time, we can see that this was a resistance for the price back in these levels. So a few times the price has come up to test this level. If you remember, at the start of September, there was a consolidation with this 13.5 cents level as a resistance. So a very important level here on Luna Classic. Most recently, the price did come down to this purple level in this region here on the 8th of November when FTX did do that fallout, and it did pump up in. And when this price level was touched, which coincided with this purple line here, the prices jetted up around 40% in a day. Of course, that is a major bounce. And if history does repeat itself, if prices do shoot down with a lot of momentum to this level, we should see a nice big bounce in the upwards direction. So the same premise with this purple line here as with this pink line. If prices come down to this level, I am going to be placing an automatic buy order, because I do think we're going to see a major bounce from this level in the upwards direction. And again, if prices do continue to go below this, I do have that stop loss just underneath once again, because that risk to reward is favorable. And so those are the two major levels that I am looking at. And I do think below 13.5 cents, we've got a level at 11.6 cents, which should hold. And if not, then 10 cents is my very lowest level that I'm looking at. And those levels are there just as backup levels, and they encompass the historical resistance and support here on Luna Classic. So if prices break below these levels here that I've drawn in purple and pink, then these two grey levels are the ones I'll be looking at next. But I don't expect the price to get there, but I'm not so expectant of the prices getting there, because this volume profile says that we do have a lot of buyer support at around this 13.5 cents region. So as you can see where my pink line is, below that level we start to get a lot of volume in this region here. We start to get a lot of liquidity. So if prices really do start heading below our pink line here, we should see a lot of buyer support, since historically a lot of buyers have been buying up Luna Classic as the price heads down into this region here. So I do think it's going to be difficult for the price to head much below this 13.5 cents region, but if it does, 11.6 is the next place I'll be looking to buy. And of course, same premise goes for that line there, 11.6 cents. I'll be placing a buy order with the premise that the prices are going to be jetting back up. And so I do think the most likely course of action here for Luna Classic is for the price to get down to this purple level. I do think we're going to see a bounce in the upward direction to some degree, but I do think at some point we're going to actually break down below this purple support here, down to at least this pink support, and that's where we're going to find a bottom here on Luna Classic before we're able to start going back in an upwards direction. And alternatively, if this pink support does not hold, then we could see prices go down further. I do think 11.6 cents level is probably going to be the bottom in my honest opinion, but this is kind of scenario number 2 for me. So if this pink support does not hold the price of Luna Classic, then we could see the scenario where prices get down to 11.5 cents. But I do think that would be the ultimate bottom. Now, the reason why I do think we're going to be going down is just basically what the whole crypto market and what the whole stock market is looking like right now. And of course, to gauge that, we go onto Bitcoin, because it is the #1 cryptocurrency. And if Bitcoin makes a major move, then we see altcoins make that move as well. And at the moment, Bitcoin has been showing a lot of negative momentum at the moment. We're seeing prices go down since Sunday here on Bitcoin. We've seen this long-term resistance here where the prices have now come to touch 3-4 times on Bitcoin. We have a support which currently sits at around 16,050 on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's still a bit above that, but we're seeing a lot of bearish momentum. And of course, this pattern here is some sort of bear flag in my opinion. So prices have come down very steep with that FTX fallout. There's been this consolidation period which has lasted about 3 weeks, so it's a very established consolidation period here on Bitcoin. And at some point, I do think Bitcoin is going to break below the 16,050 level, and when it does, we should see the prices jet down pretty fast to around 13,200. Now, of course, chart patterns are not perfect, so we could see this invalidated, but if Bitcoin does head to 16,050 and we break below that support with momentum and volume, then that's going to take the price of Bitcoin down to 13,200. And my best estimate is that Luna Classic, if Bitcoin heads down to 13,200, will head down to either this pink level here or this grey level at 11.6 cents. And of course, but I do think 13,000-ish should be the bottom for Bitcoin. That has been my opinion. I think that level is not going to be broken if Bitcoin gets down to 13,000. And if that is the case, then we should see Luna Classic bottom out at one of these two levels as well. That should be the absolute bottom. And then into 2023, towards the Bitcoin halving event, we should see prices slowly but surely pick up here on Luna Classic as well. So at the moment, I'm short-term bearish on Luna Classic. And when I say short term, that means at least for the coming month. But in the longer term, I do think the bottom for Luna Classic is near. Maybe another 10, 20, 25% drop from here. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it will matter too much, because Luna Classic will rise again once from the ashes, as it has done several times in its past. And there'll be some excellent gains to be made here. Now, another thing you guys have to understand as well is that Luna Classic is a risk asset along with every other cryptocurrency. And so basically what we've seen is cryptos and stocks behave in a similar way due to the economic times that we are seeing. And if we have a look at the stock market, because the stock market and cryptos have been correlated, as I say, basically the stock market, the S&P, in my opinion, has seen this rising wedge, and we have seen a very convincing breakdown of this rising wedge. We see a lot of momentum as prices shoot below the support line that supported the S&P on the way up. And of course, if this rising wedge is adhered to, then we should see a price target of around 3,680 on the stock market. And if it gets down to there, that's just going to add a massively bearish bias onto Bitcoin. And if we see that bearish bias on Bitcoin. We're going to see Bitcoin probably break down below 16,050 and Luna Classic head to one of these levels. So the stock market is very relevant right now. We've seen a breakdown from this rising wedge. Momentum is very bearish here on the stock market, and of course we do have that inflation data coming in a few days, 6 days from now on the 13th of December, and that's really going to decide where markets go from here. If that is bad, then we're probably going to plunge to new lows here on the S&P. We're probably going to plunge to new lows on Bitcoin, and we're probably going to plunge to new lows on Luna Classic. So that's something really to watch out for in 6 days time. Of course, I make daily analysis on this channel, so I will keep you guys up to date with that and my thoughts on the lead up to that inflation report. But otherwise, in terms of Luna Classic at this very moment, this is how I'm getting prepared. I'm anticipating the fact that we probably will see a breakdown from this purple level that we have here down to this pink level at 13.5 cents, and this could potentially be the bottom for Luna Classic. But if we see Bitcoin get down to 13,200, I do anticipate 11.6 cents being hit as well as the next level down. So of course all eyes are on this bear flag at the moment. Bitcoin is still ranging in between, so there's nothing confirmed here yet. This could be a full signal and we could start to head up on Bitcoin if the economy allows, if inflation for example is really good. But everything is at the moment pointing to Bitcoin breaking down below 16,050, and of course if that happens, then one of these two paths will be followed here. So those are my thoughts now on Luna Classic, and that is pretty much all I have to say in this video. So thank you so much for watching. Do let me know if you did find this video helpful. Do be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and otherwise I'll see you in my next video.